Hello. So the first thing I did since the last video was make a boss. The plan was to make the boss a big spectacle of a fight like the first boss of Revita. Big, menacing, but overall quite easy to deal with and defeat. And I think I did a pretty good job of that. I made a big rat. Just a big rat. It has 3 simple to understand moves which get upgraded during the second phase, so the player still feels a challenge. The player is only meant to die a couple of times to the boss, as it is just an introduction to them. After I made the boss, another thing that I've done is make a temperature system, which allows for me to make the goose get colder during the snow area that I'd started making. What I did was make the screen go blue and scroll a white noise texture over the screen once the player had entered an area 2D, and then in the corners I animated a little frost effect. Now at this point I thought it would be a great idea to start learning how to use Blender, and because of this I kept thinking I should make a game in 3D, and then disaster struck. I started making a new game again. To start out, what I did is make a really bad island in Blender and then import that into Godot, and then 2 weeks later I had a really boring bad demo for the game which I need to try very hard to fix. But then disaster struck again. It's October, the Halloween month, and I was thinking of any excuse to make a Halloween game. So what I did is me and my friend started a friendly jam between us. However, they completely forgot. I got tied up in small details, so here's where I'm at now. I have created 3 different characters, each having different ways of attacking. One ranged, one melee, and one that does this. My plan for these is to make them feel completely unique to each other and have them affect the builds that you try and go for. After this, I then created a system where the player can choose between 2 different cards relating to the characters, and then after playing a little animation of the fireplace flaming up, the character spawns, and then the player can play. After that, I needed one of the main parts of a roguelite, being the procedural generation, and the way I did it was by creating a 2D array to act as the axes, putting numbers in them and then turning those numbers into a room. And to make those rooms explorable, I put holes into the walls. This was an extremely simplified version of what I did because it took way too long to make, and it would take way too long to explain. Way too long for me anyway. Now in this point, I realised I was 2 weeks in and I didn't actually have a game that was even remotely playable. You could just walk around a couple of rooms and that was about it. So what I decided to do was work on a way where you could progress, or just reload the scene in this case. My idea was you'd have to find a key and the door to progress. You'd have to get the key, unlock the door to be able to move onwards. So to start it, I made a door in Sprite with an opening and an unlocking animation. And along with that, I made a key spinning, and I then imported both of those into Godot. So now with the game, you're able to choose your character, go into the main area, find the key, get the door, and just keep repeating it until you're unable to progress. Which is very likely to happen, because you can't go up. You just can't go up. So that's what I'm going to need to be fixing for the next video. And that's where I'm at the moment. So please subscribe and have a very good day.